Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys a quick replay of what I'm seeing. Whoa. And how we can kind of correct a couple things really quickly. This is a replay of a game we lost in our scrimmage yesterday, and it's just got two really good things in it to show you right off the bat. So I'm gonna roll this in half speed and pull up my pen, hopefully, so I can kind of draw on the screen with you guys. So Bofa's obviously gonna go get this, Immortal's gonna get this, and I'm gonna get this. Perfect. Now I realize I'm not going to be able to go for that ball, and I got bumped back, so I'm going to go back and get boost. Now Immortal's got the ball, and he's kind of tracking it, and he sees, okay, these guys are taking care of business. So the ball goes across where Bofa went to go get his boost, which wasn't there, and that's perfectly fine. So now we're creating space for each other and playing defense. So very good. So here's one situation right here we want to avoid. If I can pull back up Rocket League. So this was one of the things that I wanted to talk about here. As soon as this ball comes across and you no longer have a play here, Bofa. Right there, like once that ball's past you, again. So you come across and now the ball's past you, just rotate around. And when I say rotate around, I mean exactly that. I mean rotate around like this so that you can take care of this part of the field. I'll take care of this part of the field, and Immortal will take care of this part of the field. The name of the game is being able to have your teammates back up all parts of the field. So now that we're both in this corner, I'm going to go for this ball, and you have the tracking to possibly go for this ball. So I'm not sure when to go for it, and you not sure when to go for it, and Cable Guy's all by himself. So he's like, I'm just going to go for it. So we're in a bad situation here. And what happens is you hit this ball back around me, and I can't do anything about it. So I just leave, and I think, 40 chess. Now Immortal's going to have the ball, and I'm going to. I see that he's got a track on it, and I'm going to trust him here to hit this ball upfield. Now, if he smacks it against here, we're in trouble because Captain Guy is here. This is what I call, actually, me and my friends made this up back in the day because we had a teammate who kept doing this to us. He would hit it off this wall, and then it would go back to the center, and the other team would score. We called it his last name, Sorrell. So we call it Sorrelling the ball. So if you Sorrell the ball, we're in trouble. So you either try to hit it into these corners where it can kind of fall helplessly, and then we can kind of reset, or you see an extension like me, and I'm going to keep going upfield so Immortal can try to hit me here, and we can meet somewhere in here. So this is a good place to hit it. Try not to hit it into this, the passing lane. Always try to hit it into the corners or to an extended person, or just boom it down if you have the ability to do that. So those are three really good options for that. So we'll go back in and see what Immortal does. Boom. Hits it right to me and in between me and Nasco. So I have the opportunity to go this way. Now Bofa is no longer on defense either. Like, don't be afraid to just hold back a couple seconds before you start extending out. But in this case, you can see that I'm clearly in control of the ball. So I'll pass it over to their corner instead of the middle. I just didn't really get a good touch on it. Now we'll kind of scoot up here, and this is the second part that I want to talk about. I stay in this play, and I keep trying to hit it off the wall. Now I see, okay, I grabbed their boost, and I was probably going to just head back. I didn't rotate around, but the ball's still next to me, and this is one of the things Bofa was talking about in his question to me. So he thinks he's going to come up here too, but in reality, I'm still here. So he does a really good job of kind of repositioning himself. Good job not just reversing, getting into a good solid position, and then now I have a plan. So that was all really good right there. But what now is going to happen is another small breakdown. So my plan is to get this ball out to, like I talked about before, the passing lane. This kind of lines here is exactly where I want my shooter to be. Like if he's got momentum and he can come up here, or if he's already just kind of sitting here. But the whole plan is whoever's the shooter, in this case, Immortal being the second guy, I'm going to try to get the ball out to him, whether it's from this angle, whether it's from this angle, whether it's banging it off here or off the back wall. In this case, I know that there's a defender. And this guy, I just have to get around and then I can pass it off to the middle. If I just try to shoot it, or if I try to roll it across the center here or something like that, Nasco is just going to boom it down. And then look, we might be in trouble. But right now, Bofa's in a good position. So what happens after I hit this ball next? So I hit this ball to the center, and Bofa's got way too much momentum here to stop himself. So he's not going to be able to kind of take care of this rest of this field. So right now, this is about all we can cover. And the whole rest of the field is what we need to cover. So I'm going to say I could probably take care of anything here right now. Immortal's really just in front of him. So Bofa, your job as this third person in this situation is to make sure that nothing gets by you here. So that's really, really dangerous. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up. And that's not just you. Like, we all kind of get in this situation. But as this play continues to unfold, we kind of make it worse on ourselves. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Okay. So play that. Now I go into the corner to get their boost, but I land right next to the ball, so I just hit it again. Now I'm going to back out here, seeing that Bofa has kind of committed to coming in, which is now okay, right? Like, as soon as I'm cleared and I'm coming this way, I can start taking care of a lot of the field coming back this way. Now, Immortal, since he took that shot, he's still trying to recover from that. So he needs to make a decision on if he's going to come around this way or try to come back down the middle. Bofa, now you can't recover much of the field. You can't cover much of the field, so I'm responsible for the rest. And that's kind of where I go to in this situation. Get the rest of the field covered just in case, right? So that's my mode. I go over here and get the boost. Immortal takes one more shot, and it's really good defended. And now I have to make a quick decision whether to just get back and stall or 50 this guy, but I had a really good feeling on this one. Not always the best decision to just quickly go after that. So now this is another situation that I wanted to break. Again, this is only 30 seconds into the game, and we're having all these cool situations to kind of break down. So this is where that like whole backside rotation comes into play that I was talking about, that I'm always talking about, rather, is... Okay, so Immortal's already kind of booting this way, and the ball was over here, so it starts coming this way. So he kind of known that that's where the ball was going to go. So he's just retreating. It doesn't matter. There's no like specific rotation here. Now I'm going to also be retreating, and Bofa's going to be retreating. So for Immortal here, he's got a couple things that he can do. He can try to stall this ball somewhere in here for us to get back. He can grab this boost and boot all the way across to like a backside rotation, or he can just get all the way back. So depending on what he does is going to influence the rest of our team, right? So right now you can cover all this, and me and Bofa are kind of here, and I could probably get to somewhere in here before the ball happens. So what's Immortal going to do? That's the question that we're all waiting for. So he gets to the boost, and then he kind of turns away. So that's perfectly fine too. Again, in this situation, we're all retreating, and I probably said something like I'm on my way back or whatever the case is. So now we got to make a decision. Immortal's going to go ahead and try to rotate back to the net. Bofa's also going to rotate to the net, and then I end up taking what I call this backside rotation, this wide one. So now we've got no one over here by the ball. So Bofa's smart to cut across here if that's what he ends up doing. Let's go back to Rocket League. See how this play unfolds a little bit. So that's exactly what happens. Bofa cuts across, and we'll just go back a little bit more. So here's what I'd like to see happen in this stream. I'm going to slow this down to 25%. I'd like to see Bofa attack this ball like this so that he has that. So he did a good job. But I'd like to see Immortal, you take a wider angle. Now you went in the net, you're just kind of nothing you can do. So I have to jump over you in order to clear this ball. See how long it took you to turn around? If you would have done this, you would have been in a way better position. And that's kind of that backside thought process that I'm talking about. And then again, this was the other thing. When I'm talking about backside rotation on defense, here's what I mean. This ball's coming down here. I'm going for it. Cable God gets it over me. So instead of me kind of turning around and trying to mess with this guy, I know that you guys are over here trying to figure out what you're going to do next. So my hope is that both is going to come play this ball right here. And so I'm going to rotate. And I'm not going to rotate here, here, even here. I'm going to rotate way like this. I'm going to do this big circle. I'm going to grab a couple of these boost pads so I don't have to go looking for big ones, especially since Captain Guy probably just took this one. I want to grab a few on my way back and start thinking about what's next for the play, right? That's the whole thought process. What's next? So Bofa goes and he attacks, and I grab a couple of these boosts, or I should have missed the line. Now Cable God just has a really bad hit, so now we have offense in. There we go. Now I'm grabbing this. And now you guys are going to push forward. Now this is where communication is going to come into play again. Make sure we're not taking care of, and this is just another really good way to visualize it. Bofa's kind of got all this covered. Immortal now has like this covered, so that leaves the whole rest of the field for me. So it's just kind of that one of those things where make sure you're giving each other a little bit of space. I'm going for this, or I'm going for this, and then you kind of figure out what you're going to do here, or you go to the middle and start playing that. That might be the best option here, honestly, from the way things are going. Is Bofa goes for this ball, tries to take care of the wall. Immortal tries to extend out here so he can make a pass to the middle or be ready for any kind of 50s, and then I'm on defense. That's a really good option here. But always pointing your nose to the car or to the ball will make it very difficult for us to keep continuing space. So now this ball gets over to the middle, and I'm just going to be like, okay, what's going to happen? Immortal's going to go up for it, and unfortunately, I think you miss it. And then I'm just there to kind of clean it up, and I get a nice little air dribble because they're all just bunched up together. Now, how much space I had created there gives me so much time to be creative with my shot, and it's super helpful for people like me to be able to do that. So those are the things I wanted to talk about. Just making sure that we get the backside rotation as much as possible, kind of giving each other space, and just kind of being more aware of the field. Like, what can I cover? What can my teammates cover? And am I being helpful in this situation, or am I hurting the situation? So that was just, again, 55 seconds off the clock, and we ran into all the situations. So I thought it was a really good example. But this is not a tell of like our full game plan, right? This is just these situations. So just kind of start thinking that way, that chess match kind of thought process. Anyway, I'll see you guys tonight.